Bulian to tell us more about the project, where it has come from and where it's going. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of East African Community Affairs, Your Excellency the Ambassadors, the Honorable Ministers from the Republic of Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania, the Permanent Secretaries from the Republic of Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania, the leadership from the Uzinduzi district and the Republic of Uganda, the leadership from the Murongo district in the Republic of Tanzania, religious leaders and cultural leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to stand before you at the inauguration of the Kikagati Murongo hydropower project, a cross-border project developed by the African Renewable Energy Fund and PACSPA through the Kikagati Power Company Limited as a special project company. I will tell you that about 20 years ago, when I started in the field of power project development in Africa, they told me there are two things you have to stay away from. One is hydro projects, and the other one is cross-border projects. I'm really happy that we've proven all of that wrong, and I'm really happy that we've achieved what we have achieved. I will first give you a little bit of an overview about the sponsors and the projects, and cover a few other points. So first, about the African Renewable Energy Fund and Berkeley Energy as the manager of that fund. Your Excellencies, RF, as we call it, the fund, owns 90% of the Kikagati Power Company Limited, which is also the developer of this project. RF, the fund, was set up to invest in hydro, geothermal, solar and biomass projects in sub-Saharan Africa. The fund is managed by Berkeley Energy with offices in Nairobi and Kampala. RF is backed by notable financial institutions, including the African Development Bank, the Sustainable Energy Fund for Africa, CEFA, the European Investment Bank, the International Finance Corporation, the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the West African Development Bank, the British International Investment, which is formerly the CDC, the Dutch Development Bank, and also a number of others. About $400 million has been invested in RF's projects in Uganda, and in this case also in Tanzania, about $400 million. Apart from the Bujagali Consortium, which is the biggest private hydro in operation in Africa, and also the biggest one in Uganda, this makes RF the largest private investor in the power generation in Uganda. Our projects include Achua 1 and Achua 2, with combined capacity of 83 megawatts in Gulu-Padre districts in northern Uganda. Bugoye, which is our 13 megawatt hydro in the Kasese district, in the Rwenzoris. And here we are at Kikagati Murongo, so 16 megawatts on the Kagera River. Elsewhere in Africa, we have been developing and investing in other renewable energy projects. So I'll just give you a brief overview, but we have a 150 megawatt geothermal project in Ethiopia. We are very active in hydro in Angola, Cameroon, Madagascar, and Zambia, about 400 megawatts of hydro that we're working on in those countries. Large battery storage projects, so standalone battery storage projects in Malawi and Kenya, about 180 megawatts. And also we develop and deliver energy solutions for large corporate customers. So all kinds of renewable energy solutions, solar, heat, batteries, energy efficiency, and such. give you a summary, therefore, Berkeley Energy is a developer focused on delivering renewable energy solutions in Africa. We are particularly proud of our track record with hydro projects, in which we are the market leader on the continent. We are proud to have had the opportunity to collaborate with a broad range of Ugandan, Tanzanian, and international stakeholders on this project. Let me focus on the project, therefore, a little bit. Kikagati Murongo was designed as a 16 megawatt hydro project at a site on the Kagera River, which forms a border between Uganda and Tanzania. Work on this project started in 2005, but it did not steadily progress until 2017, when the bilateral agreement was finalized between the two countries. We have gotten involved in the project, with the project in 2016. The project is expected to produce approximately 130 gigawatt hours per year. So some of the technical people here will know what that means very well, but, and someone already said it's enough energy to power tens of thousands of homes. But there is a broader systemic importance that this project has. At over 90% plant load factor, this will be perhaps the project with the highest utilization factor of any in Uganda. This is due to the exceptional nature of this hydro resource, and it will make this project very important to supply stable power into the power grids in southwest Uganda and northwest Tanzania. Being a cross-border project, it fits well with the East African Community Vision 2050 and Article 101 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community, under which the partner states agreed, among others, to cooperate in the exploitation of renewable energy resources to supply affordable energy to their people. Accordingly, the project has received support from the EAC, especially during the negotiation of the bilateral agreement and other project implementation documents. And I would really like to underline this. It was very important and worthwhile support. The amount invested in this project is approximately $100 million. This is due to the very sizable project infrastructure which you have been able to see on this mighty river, but also due to interconnection with both Uganda and Tanzania, which we have implemented. And also, unfortunately, we have suffered quite significant delays and challenges during the COVID pandemic. It really has not been easy. However, we've managed to get there, and we need to recognize project lenders who have supported us, which is FMO, the Dutch Development Bank, and the Emerging Africa Infrastructure Fund. We very much recognize and appreciate their ongoing support for the project. I would like to stress that this is a build, own, operate, and transfer project, a BOT. So after the expiry of this project, PPA, so it's a 20-year PPA, power purchase agreement. So after the expiry of the 20-year power purchase agreement, the project shall be owned equally by the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Uganda. And someone has mentioned that this kind of a project can run for 100 years, and indeed we have quite a few examples in the world of hydro projects that are 100 years old or more and running very well, and that's what we expect to see here as well. So a few words on the power sharing between the two countries. It was envisioned in the bilateral agreement that the power generated by the project will be equally shared between the two countries. Under the power sharing agreement, the two countries agreed also that Tanzania would take just 2.5 megawatts in the first three years from the commissioning date to fulfill what was expected as the lower energy demand on the northwest part of the Tanzanian grid. We very much appreciate the visionary leadership of Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the efforts by TANESCO for the increased power consumption that we are now witnessing in Tanzania, which has seen the demand by Tanzania in this region increase to 4.5 megawatts since August 2022, within the first year of commissioning. So it's almost double what was initially forecast. On the Ugandan side, we appreciate the visionary leadership of Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, which has provided extended stability in Uganda, which has in turn enabled increased connections in the Mbarare area. We understand from Umeme that the increased power supply from Kikagati has stabilized and improved the quality of power supply in Mbarara and the neighboring areas. Your Excellencies, the project was initially designed as a 16 megawatt hydropower project. However, during the permitting stage, both the government of Tanzania and Uganda were concerned about the demand for the entire 16 megawatts. Accordingly, the generation license was issued for only 14 megawatts. The PPA recognizes it as a project of 14 megawatts contracted capacity with a nameplate capacity of 16 megawatts. This means that the project can generate 16 megawatts, and it would be to the benefit of both countries to increase the power uptake to serve the ever-increasing demand. We expect that the full 16 megawatt capacity would be absorbed by the electricity demand in the region as early as 2024. Your Excellencies, in December 2022, Kikagati made an application to modify the generation license to the Electricity Regulatory Authority in consultation with EWURA to recognize the installed capacity of 16 megawatts from the current 14. We understand that Electricity Regulatory Authority is reviewing our proposal. Your Excellencies, your intervention in expediting the process will be highly appreciated. I'll spend a few words on other projects that we are looking at in Uganda and the region. Your Excellencies, leveraging on the success of these projects, we are interested to implement other projects that would benefit Uganda, Tanzania, and the broader region. Your Excellencies, we have conducted the feasibility study for the Nsongezi hydro project, 38 megawatts, which is another cross-border project on the Kagera River, located 10 kilometers downstream from this site. We would like to be permitted to develop this project under a similar framework as Kikagati Murongo. This would bring the total installed capacity on the Kagera River to over 50 megawatts. Given the very high plant load factor of these projects, this would further strengthen energy supply to these regions of Uganda and Tanzania. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, we have conducted feasibility studies for Achua 3, which is a 10 megawatt project, and Achua 4, an 8 megawatt project, both hydro projects on the Achua River in the north. We would like to be permitted to develop these projects, leveraging our experience and successful construction and commissioning of Achua 1 and Achua 2 on the Achua River. This would bring the total installed capacity of the Achua projects to 100 megawatts. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, we also have a keen interest in developing Mubuku 1, which is a mini hydro located within the Kilembe mines in Kasese. This project is along the same river and near another one of our hydro projects, Bugoye, which is also referred to as Mubuku 2. The project, Mubuku 1, currently has the capacity of 4 megawatts, but we believe, if given the opportunity, we can generate more than 10 megawatts from that site, which would be a welcome addition to power generation in that part. Given the strong economic growth that is being experienced in Uganda and Tanzania, we believe that now is the time to start working on these projects as energy demand is rising fast. I will speak also a little bit about the challenges that we have experienced, particularly with the project here at Kikagati, Murongo. I will start with double taxation. Your Excellencies, currently, both countries expect to tax the project at 30% corporate income tax, which potentially puts the effective tax rate for the project at 60%. That is unfortunately not sustainable. The project has continuously engaged both countries since 2017, and then in 2018, 2020, 2021, and most recently in May 2022, with the aim of agreeing on a structure that aligns with the spirit of the bilateral agreement, that is an equal sharing of the resource. In the most recent engagements with the project steering committee, formed to resolve the tax modalities, KPCL, the project company, proposed a 50-50 tax allocation between the two countries. However, this structure has not been implemented to date. Your Excellencies, as is the case for other cross-border projects, such as the East African crude oil pipeline project, this project will require a change in tax law in either country to recognize the proposed tax structure. We therefore request the finance ministries from both countries to assist in fast-tracking this process. The position is now critical, as the project has achieved commercial operation without clarity on its tax structure. I would like to touch on cross-border movement of the operational team. With this being a cross-border project, the operations team frequently moves across the border. KPCL has, however, experienced challenges with the movement of personnel, with the Tanzania authorities requiring work permits while crossing the Kikagati-Murongo border. And by this we mean also working here at the project site in the WEWE. The project has complied to date with this requirement, but this is not sustainable. The Tanzania government is immensely benefiting from the energy evacuated from the project, and we therefore request Her Excellency to waive this requirement for work permits for Kikagati staff moving across the border. And I'll also just restate the license application that we've mentioned. So Kikagati has made an application for amendment of the generation license in December 2022, requesting the regulator ERA to recognize the installed capacity of 16 megawatts from the current 14. We understand that ERA is reviewing our proposal, but the request is that this is fast-tracked. Your Excellencies, we would also like to extend our special thanks to the Ministries of Energy in both Uganda and Tanzania, to ERA and to EWURA, who have worked closely with the project over the years, and also very much to UTCL and to TANESCO as the off-takers for this project. I want to extend our thanks to all our contractors, in particular our colleagues from PAC, who have been a key EPC contractor for this project, and are also our equity partners in this project. They're represented here, and I have to commend them for their work and being a key success factor for this plant. Also, very, very special thanks to the Kikagati project team and the entire Berkeley Energy Uganda team who have worked tirelessly on this project. Lastly, the project would have been more difficult and probably more costly to implement without the support of our able legal counsel, ABMAC Associates, led by senior partner Aisha Naiga-Wamala. I would request the ABMAC team to stand up so that we can recognize them. And Your Excellencies, we thank you very much for your relentless support for this project and for taking time to come here and inaugurate this facility. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. The Managing Director of Berkeley Energy, Luca Bullian. Your Excellencies, he spoke a lot about the impact of the project, and something that he also touched on was how much it has affected and impacted the lives of the people on both sides of the border. Your Excellencies, not only have we managed to change lives of different individuals and touch them in terms of setting up different schools, water provision solutions, set up pit latrines, midwifery classes, all sorts of different corporate social responsibility. But in the midst of all this, we would not have been able to do it alone. You need to do it with partners. So it's my great pleasure, Your Excellencies, to welcome the Director, PAC SPA, Giulio Parolini, to tell us more about the partnership. Big round of applause as he comes.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, all protocol observed, I'm Giulio Parolini, the Director of PAC SPA, and I'm honored to be here in front of you. PAC SPA is an Italian private company that is 10% shareholder of the Kikagati Power Company Limited, the developer of this project. PAC was also the PC contractor for this project. We started the construction in July 2018, and we commissioned the project in February 2022. PAC is also a shareholder in Achua project in Gulu and Padar district. And in all these projects, we had the support of the Italian DFI's export credit agency like SACE and CIMEST. PACSPA is a construction company owned by my family that started the business in the 60s in Italy. We are focused in the construction of infrastructure, like road and tunnels, and we are specialized in hydropower plants. From almost 15 years, we are active in Uganda to develop and construct medium-sized hydroelectric plant. Your Excellencies, I will address you on the impact of Kikagati Murongo project in the local community and how this has improved surrounding local community in Uganda and Tanzania. Your Excellencies, the project acquired land from the local community. Actually 53 Ugandans and 64 Tanzanians. All affected people were compensated, and the resettlement action plan was fully implemented as per the EFC standard. There has been no grievance as related to the compensation. Your Excellencies, the project has access to employment opportunities to nationals. Over 370 employees from broke countries were employed by this project during the construction phase. And now, during operation, we are employing around 40 employees from both countries.